Whatever is happening in Kenya is happening in Africa. And it's not something that cannot happen in other parts of Africa. If you look at the genesis of this, it's led by very young people. They call them the Gen Z. People were born between 1991 and 2001. And these are the people that are pushing for their own rights. I mean, these rights are enshrined in the constitutions of Kenya and are just exercising what we all believe in. I mean, Uncle Kwesi Pratt is a veteran when it comes to demonstrations. But the unique nature of this demonstration is that there's no leadership. It didn't come from the political class or the traditional political class and political parties. These are people who have mobilized themselves over the internet, using WhatsApp, Facebook, and have genuine concerns. Because if you look at the finance bill, it's not just got to do with taxes. It's also got to do with taxes on electronic transactions, like we had here, like e-levy. Yes. Most of these young people are saying that, look, we trade over the internet on Instagram, through Facebook, and if you're going to come after that revenue as well, it becomes a problem. But it's a larger problem of the African context. You know, to quote Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, he said that the African is capable of managing his own affairs. But it seems that year after year after year, he's been proven wrong. Because it's as if we are not able to manage our own affairs. The issue, whatever is going on in Kenya, something similar went on in Ghana just about 2-3 years ago when we were trying to push e-levy.
Yes.
But our youth did not rise to the extent that you see.
It was just the MPs.
Exactly. That notwithstanding, we have our MPs who got caught up in the problem that is going on in Kenya. I mean, Sylvester, I spoke to him yesterday. He was fine. He was sitting in his hotel room. And we couldn't even speak for long because the internet was very poor. And I think the state security there is trying to manage information that goes out. So even the internet is not working well out of Kenya. However, we know that they are in safe hands and hopefully they'll come back to join us soon. But I want to quote something from what the former president said, Uhuru. He says the leaders must know that power and authority that they have is donated to them by the people.
Yes.
It's the people that have put you there. The people are saying that they are not prepared to pay more taxes. Well, if that is it, give them what they want. It might mean that the state will go through some difficulties in the future. Because what were these taxes for? The taxes that they were asking for was to take care of debts that had been incurred in the past. Obviously, because I sit in as part of the political class, I wouldn't say that taxes are not good. But sometimes the people also want to see the effect of the taxes that they've paid in the past. You know, I listened to some of the youth through BBC.
Yes.
And you can clearly tell that they cannot see they cannot match the level of taxes that they pay to the kind of development that they see within their economy or within their society. And therefore, on the back of that, they were revolting. It's similar to what we find in Ghana. I mean, you see the level of taxes that you pay, and you are driving over on the motorway to Tema, and the whole place is bushy. You know, just the middle. The whole place is bushy.
With manholes.
And you ask yourself, where did the money go? In the last 6 years, we've borrowed $11 billion. But there isn't much to show for that in terms of, I mean, real growth that would change the destiny of this country. You look at small countries. I was reading something on South Korea recently, post-war South Korea. They borrowed money from Barclays Bank. But what did they use the money for? Productive activity. We have gone back from, I mean, anyway, let's stick to this. It's unfortunate that we find ourselves in this quagmire as Africans because what is happening in Kenya is similar to what happened during the Arab Spring. Started from Tunisia, it rolled over to Egypt, later Libya, and then others even took advantage of it and destroyed the whole thing. So we also have to manage it carefully so that it doesn't become a domino effect. You know, that after Kenya, it goes to the next place, it goes to another place, and might end up here. We also have to, it's a warning and a wake-up call for the political class to sit up and deliver the goods that the people are asking for. Because if we go for election after election, election after election, and we don't deliver be able to turn the aspirations of our people into reality, obviously, this is what will happen. This is a new generation of Kenyans. 20 years ago, there's a generation of Kenyans that did something similar. If prior to that, about, let's say 40 years ago, there was a generation of Kenyans that did something like that. That was even bloodier.
Yes.
2012, they did something similar, which was even worse. They had to even change the constitution. And this thing is simmering. It's simmering. And it's not just Kenya. Most African countries are going through the same problem. Most African countries are going through the same problem. High rise, high inflation, high cost of living. People are unable to afford basic things. You know, today I was listening to one radio station on my way here. Somebody was asking whether our breakfast, the cost of our breakfast last year is still the same. It's not the same. Because with the same amount of money, you buy virtually half the same value. You know, so there are genuine concerns in Kenya. And I don't want to limit it to Kenya.
Yeah.
It affects Ghana as well.
Right.
Kenya's situation is no different from what Ghana is facing. And I pray that we'll find solutions that would grow our economies and create jobs for our people so that our youth will be busy doing something else.
Right.
Lastly, yes, even though I support people exercising their rights when it comes to this, I think that sometimes, you know, youthful exuberance pushes people to do more than they should be doing. For example, to the extreme that you go to burn your parliament. That's to the extreme because there were foreign MPs there. Can you just imagine that one of our MPs got injured or was killed or got caught up in some beating, whatever? It will have different implications. The implications will not be limited to just the fact that he was there, but even between our government and the government of Kenya, people would have to answer questions and all that. So sometimes we also have to limit it. Lastly, the use of force. You know, I pray that the police will restrain themselves. Sometimes when leaders call in the police and they want to call in the army and all that, I think it's a show of force. But sometimes I believe that negotiations and jojoing is always better than war. And if, as quickly as possible, they're able to identify the leaders of these youth groups, talk to them, negotiate with them, get them to counter, let them understand what the implication of this can be. And then on the back of that, take some decisions so that at least we save the state called Kenya and then we nip it in the bud. But there should be a learning curve for all of us.